So here is my Smoky Joe Weber grill, and if you can see, it's a pretty small grill. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to convert this grill into a full-fledged smoker. If you're taking a look here, just most of the cooking that I'm doing is just direct heat, where I wanted to go with something slow and low. So if you look here, I installed these handles, and that was the first modification that I did to the Smoky Joe. Small little portable grill. But then I decided I wanted to turn this into a smoker. So then what I did was I bought this tamale pot. The tamale pot is a 32 quart tamale pot. And I was going to use that as the body of the smoker. And then you need to get some hardware too, so you can mount the grill grates later. So what I'm doing here right now is I took a protractor, and as you know, a circle is 360 degrees, so I basically just evenly spaced 120 degrees on the tamale pot, so that's where my markings are for the mounting of the hardware. So that's the first mark, and that is a center punch. The center punch is used so I can have a little guide where I'm going to start drilling so the drill bit doesn't slip from the can. So I'm going to start drilling, and this will be the first hole to mount some of the hardware to lay some of my equipment in there. If you notice, I think I'm wearing safety glasses. Yeah. So then, after I drilled all 3 holes in there, I'm going to 120 degrees apart. I'm going to use that hole saw that you just saw. And here's a hole saw. It's a 3-inch hole saw, and I'm going to drill a hole at the bottom. Purpose of drilling holes at the bottom of the tamale pot is this is where smoke is going to infuse into the meat that I'm smoking. This hole saw is a 2-inch hole saw attached to a drill, and then I'm going to drill additional holes into the bottom of the tamale pot, so then some smoke can basically find its way into the area where the meat's going to be. And this here, it looks like I think I'm just eyeballing it. There's my 2-inch hole saw. Yep. And I did 4 there. I think I put more. Okay, so now some of the edges are sharp, so I'm just going to file that down so it's a little bit more dull. I mean, I know when I'm using this tamale pot or this smoker, there's no way that I'm actually going to grab it from there. So what I'm doing is I'm drilling more holes for some hardware to install. You'll understand what I mean when I say hardware. That's going to be where I'm going to put screws in so that my grates and the grills can hold in there. So I marked it, and I measured it roughly a little bit less than halfway through the tamale pot, because that's where I want my second grill to go. Use a center punch to get a little hole to guide my drill. And then start drilling. And so I'm going to drill another 3 holes around the circumference of the pot, so I'll have enough hardware to support the actual drill. What you see me doing now is I'm actually measuring where to use this hole saw. This is a small hole saw, and I'm going to use this for the thermometer. I like this one because it actually has a spring in there compared to the other one, and what that spring does is it actually ejects that little metal that sometimes catches inside there. So you see how that's stuck in there? That happened when I drilled. But with this little small one, there's not going to be any metal in there. See? Okay, after I drilled the hole for the thermometer that I'm going to put on the tamale pot, I'm going to tape up the handles because I want to give this a paint job so it matches my Weber grill. Here is some high max heat paint, and it's heat resistant, so then the paint won't actually peel off when I start smoking with it. I'll paint it all black. And so I taped some of the sections off that I still want to be more like a chrome color, I guess. And here's a finished product with the thermometer installed, actually. And so you see those little studs there, those little end caps? That's where the hardware is installed, the screws, and that's going to actually hold my grills in place. And there's the holes for the smoke infusion. I'm kind of happy how it turned out so far. It looks pretty good. Okay. So here, I'm actually going to put a second thermometer. So I did the center punch, and I decided to put it on the 9 o'clock on the grill pan, or the grill lid. But I want to make sure that these thermometers are calibrated right and they're reading the right temperature. So I know, there's the probe. So I know that water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And just to make sure that these are reading correctly, I'm going to dip those probes in boiling water. And we'll see where my temperature gauge reads on there. If it's wrong, then I need to recalibrate the thermometers. But Amazon, I believe, sent them to me correctly. And I'm almost there at 212. I'm pretty close on both thermometers. That one's a little high, but I'm okay with that. If the thermometers are reading something like 300 or 350, that would be bad. Okay, so here we are. And if you notice, there's my handles that I put on earlier. And then when you lift the lid up, you can see that it's just my grill and I don't have the smoker on it. So there is the charcoal grill. And if you lift it up, I put an electrical box right there where the holes are poked out. I put that box on top of the actual vents there to prevent ash from clogging it. So it's kind of a protection. So you put the charcoal grate on top, and then you put the charcoal and the wood chips there so the wood chips start to smoke. And then that smoke should travel up into the actual smoker body, which is what you saw me create not too long ago. And there it is. And you see the smoke is going to permeate through those holes that I drilled in the bottom. Now you see the hardware that's down in the bottom. That is a deflector plate where it's going to deflect heat, so it keeps the temperatures really moderate in the smoker. And that was just basically a terracotta plate that I covered with tin foil. So that's going to keep the temperatures in the 250 range, and that's perfect for smoking. So here is the first grill, and that's just going to go on the bottom. That grill essentially is going to be like, that's where I can just start cooking larger portions of food because the temperature might be a little warmer there. And then I have a second grill that I can install, and you just put that or lay that flat on the hardware. So I can basically have two different meats smoking at the same time. And then here's a third. So the third will just rest on the bolts which actually attach the handles on the pot. So this is a smoker that can actually carry 3 levels of meat. But I'm not done yet. Take a look at this. Now this is basically like a stand for chicken, like if you're gonna roast a beer can chicken, but you can also use it for something else here. So basically you can just put another small grate on top of it, and I can put something else there. So I can smoke up to 4 levels of food in this 14-inch smoker. And definitely smoking and doing cooking slow and low is a lot better than direct heat in my opinion. So the entire project cost me roughly, for all the hardware, the paint, thermometers, tamale pot, and whatever else I used, it's about $100. And I'm pretty happy with how the results turned out. So, with that said, I will probably post a video in the future with me camping using the smoker. Hopefully I want to smoke some fish and smoke some ribs. Alright, have a good day.